So I'm back in Brevard County from my 2-week-long cross-country honeymoon trip, and back to reality of dealing with all the craziness that's currently going on. The little Blue 2 looks like she's pretty much dead. So I'm currently driving around in the rental car before I have to turn it in tomorrow, heading over to the Career Source Center to deal with the court order. So I'm over there. I'll be over there updating my resume and looking for a job. They say what it is I've been making the child support payments, but I haven't been able to make the arrears. So I'm behind on child support. And my wife, my ex-wife, insists on getting that caught up, ASAP. So the court ended up ordering me to look for a higher paying job than what I was able to get on my own. Now, the issue that I have with the Career Center is this is like the 4th or 5th time. This is like a ongoing loop that they get you into. But I go back there and I register through everything, and they put me in the system to try to get a job. And they haven't really gotten me a job in the past 8 years that I've been dealing with them. But because of the court order, I have to comply. So that's what I'm doing right now, is I am heading back there. I've already gone there once to fill out the paperwork. They never called me in for the interview, so they're doing it now. Actually, they called me while I was on the honeymoon, so I'm heading over there now to see if they'll see me when I drop in, just to let them know that I'm here and I have a copy of my updated resume. So the plan is to put myself in there for a job, hopefully a better paying job, but I'm not too optimistic because they've had 8 years of me dealing with them and going through there and updating resumes and going to all their classes and everything else, which is actually taking time from working. But that's what I'm doing today, and the hope is that they'll actually get me in a job that pays enough to cover child support and living expenses. We will find out. Meanwhile, I hope everybody's doing well. It is like in the 70s here, nice and warm. I'm actually without a jacket. I may head back to the beach here just to collect my thoughts, maybe do a talking head episode from there. Except my selfie stick's broke. It broke on the honeymoon, so we'll see if we can't get another one at the Dollar Tree or something, if I can find a Dollar Tree. I'll look for a selfie stick. I know they have one at Five Below for $5, but I wonder if they have one at the Dollar Tree. So we'll go take a look over there as soon as I can find a Dollar Tree. But I'm optimistic that everything will work out all right. I mean, we got safely through the trip. The budget that I had allocated did make it possible to do the trip. If you follow the videos, and you'll see that we really didn't do a lot of stuff that required pay. Most of what we did, most of the money that was spent on the trip was actually on gasoline expenses and hotel rooms. The reason I opted to go with the rental vehicle is obviously my van wouldn't have made it. But also, if you look at the economy of traveling 6,500 miles, if your van is only getting like maybe 10, 12 miles per gallon, that's 600 plus gallons of gasoline. So if you multiply 600, 6,500 miles is how much we covered. So that's like 650 gallons of gasoline. If you multiply that by an average cost of $3, you get more than $2,000 just in gasoline costs. That makes a trip going cross country like that expensive just for gas alone, and that doesn't even include, food and room and board. Now, if you had a van, you don't have to pay room and board. You can cook and stuff in it, so that can cut your costs. But you're still looking at $2,000. And if your van breaks down or something bad happens, you got to pay for that. Because I didn't have a working vehicle, a working van to start off with, I had planned beforehand to allocate money for a rental. This vehicle that I'm in right now is a Nissan Versa. I was able to rent it for 3 weeks well, yeah, 3 full weeks for about $550. So renting a car for 3 weeks for $550, $560 is pretty good. And this vehicle gets more than 30 miles per gallon, and it did that on the trip. I couldn't believe how fuel efficient this vehicle is compared to my van. But now you multiply the 600, let's say 650 miles divided by 30, okay, then you're looking at about what, 20? I don't know how many gallons of gas I ended up using, but roughly I used about $600, $600 worth of gasoline. So cost-wise, it was way cheaper to drive around in a little car than it would have been to drive in a van. It was like one-fourth or one-third as expensive. So instead of spending $2,000 in gasoline, I only spent about $500 or $600 in gas total for the trip. With the cost of the car being, you know, roughly $550, $600, we're looking at $1,100-$1,200 for the car and the gas. That's already a savings of $900. Now, that $900 ended up going towards hotel rooms. And you're like, well, hotel rooms would be very expensive. Yeah, if you just booked hotels along the way. But if you pre-plan it, like I did, we went to Las Vegas, and I was able to get a room at the cheap Circus Hotel for 5 days straight for $17 a night. Now, I found out later they charged me a resort fee of $20 a night. Well, it was $20 or $30 a night while I was there. So I ended up paying like $45 a night. So it came up to like $200 or something for a week. And then traveling, our rooms ranged from $34 up to about $56 that we got rooms for the night. So all told, the whole trip cost me roughly $2,000. That included room, board, and traveling. Food-wise, we really didn't eat a lot. We mostly ate sandwiches, and I'm going to take the camera here to the career center here, but I ate mostly sandwiches that we bought, you know, like bread and stuff, and tomatoes, and lettuce, and onions to make sandwiches. And we also had rice. We ate rice almost every day with rotisserie chicken from Walmart. It turned out that my chuck station really wasn't as useful as I'd hoped. The reason being that the trunk of the car, as you can see, is hard to get into. Let me just show you this real quick. I do have a clip earlier where I showed how packed everything really was. Trunk is small, and that chuck station I couldn't really put in here and use. So it ended up going in with all the suitcase and everything. It was so hard to get to. What I ended up doing most of the time was just taking out a rice cooker with the 2 pots, and we just cooked rice to eat with food a long route. So if I had to do a trip like this again, I would probably go with a rental. It was really cheap and economical, and because it's a brand new vehicle, the likelihood of it breaking down is very slim. Now, I did increase my insurance coverage to full coverage on it to make sure that I allocated for stuff like, I think comprehensive in Florida means that I won't have to pay for this damage that did occur on this rental. It ended up getting a cracked, look at this cracked windshield. I don't know what happened. A rock or something must have hit it right there at that impact point, and it started to crack down the whole line. All I know was a couple days of me into the trip, the windshield started cracking, and it just kept cracking. So I'll be dealing with that later today after I leave the career center. But if I had to do it again, I would do something like this. Get a rental and plan to stay in hotels, cheap hotels en route. It allowed us to see and do a lot of things. And, you know, we didn't really pay money for entertainment much. Most of the places we went to, we either went to a national park and made a one-time payment to get in there for the whole day, or it was free. You know, I chose sections and places that I knew would be free and or low cost, and that's what we did for our entertainment. So the trip, I think, was for the most part a success, and I really enjoyed myself. But now it's time to get back to business, nitty-gritty of getting my life back in order.